Hola y bienvenidos a Module 4B. We continue with capítulo 1, primero un repaso review. Los meses del año y la fecha, which we accomplished in Module 4A, months of the year and the date. El verbo tener y las expresiones, perdón, the verb to have and expressions that go with the verb tener. And then un poco más, expresiones con tener. There's some other very useful expressions that use the verb to have. We'll learn those today. Continuing, we're going into a segment of the chapter called Voces de la Comunidad, Voices of the Community. This is going to involve the video that is in your online practice work, and we'll prep for that. We'll go on with a leer, on to read. The reading in this capítulo is Tu dirección electrónica revela tu personalidad. I bet you can figure out what that means with those good cognates. Your email, your address, electronic address, email, reveals your personality. So we'll see if that's true. And continuing with a escribir, on to writing. Writing an email, and that is part of what you're going to be accomplishing in your practice this week. You'll be writing an email to me, and I'm going to review how that's going to be graded with you later in the module. Bueno, let's begin our repaso review with los meses del año y la fecha, months of the year and the date. Fecha. What do you remember? ¿Cómo se dice January? Enero, February. Febrero, March. Marzo, April. Abril, May. Mayo, June. Junio, July. Julio, August. Agosto, September. Septiembre, October. Octubre, November. Noviembre, and December. Diciembre. Remember that the months of the year are not capitalized. There are many great cognates there, looking a lot like their English counterparts. So you'll see a month pop up now in English, and you call it out in Espanol. April, Abril, Agosto, Noviembre, Enero, Septiembre, Junio, Marzo, Julio, Mayo, Diciembre, Febrero, Octubre. Muy bien. We can kind of think of writing the date like using a formula. To talk about dates, use this construction. El plus number plus de plus month. If you heard the question, ¿Cuál es la fecha? Which is the date? You would answer, es el 4 de febrero, for example. So repitan, por favor. ¿Cuál es la fecha? ¿Cuál es la fecha? Es el 4 de febrero. Es el 4 de febrero. It's the 4th of February. Instead of saying February 4th, remember el number de month. To talk about the first day of the month, it's an exception. You use primero. You don't say el 1 de febrero. You'd say, por ejemplo, es el 1 de marzo. Repitan, por favor, es el 1 de marzo. Es el 1 de marzo. When abbreviating the date, the day, the number is first, followed by the month. So if you look at this example, 4/2/18, in English, that would be April 2nd. But remember, they're saying the day, the date, the number first. So 4-2-18 is el 4 de febrero 2018. 2018. Y ahora un poco de práctica. Los meses del año está allí Here, the meses del año. So, ¿cómo se dice en español? The homework is for February 11th. For the purpose of, is para. So, ¿cómo se dice the homework? Is for the 11th of February. La tarea es para el 11 de febrero. Look at you, all the pieces you're putting together now. Número dos, the party, fiesta, is June 28th. Remember, it's the number of month. La fiesta es el 28 de junio. And don't forget the definite article the needs to be the feminine version, la, in both the first and second sentences to go with la tarea, the homework, la fiesta, both feminine nouns. How about número tres? My birthday, cumpleaños, is August 19th. Mi cumpleaños es el 19 de agosto. Excellent. I bet you did great on those. So what date is important for everyone? Of course, los cumpleaños, birthdays. In Spanish, the word for birthday is cumpleaños, which literally means completes, cumple, and years, años. So those two words together, cumpleaños. Many Spanish speakers celebrate their saint's day, el día de tu santo, along with their birthday. And so el día de su santo is the birthday of the saint, whose name is the same day as or similar to their own. For example, el 19 de marzo, if that is your cumpleaños, it's el día de San José. It's the day of the Saint San José. To ask the question, when is your birthday? ¿Cuándo es tu cumpleaños? Repitan, por favor. ¿Cuándo es tu cumpleaños? ¿Cuándo es tu cumpleaños? Y la respuesta, mi cumpleaños es el number de mes, número mes. Por ejemplo, para mí, ask me the question now, when is your birthday? Mi cumpleaños es el 19 de septiembre. When's my birthday in English? Yep, you got it. September 19. So let's do la práctica. First of all, tell me the months en español. January, enero, February, febrero, March, marzo, April, abril, May, mayo, June, junio, July, julio, August, agosto, September, septiembre, October, octubre, November, noviembre, December, diciembre. So I'm going to ask you, when is your birthday? ¿Cuándo es tu cumpleaños? And I'm going to listen for your answer. Tell me when your birthday is. ¿Listos? Ready? ¿Cuándo es tu cumpleaños? Muy bien. And now you, pregúntame. Ask me, when is my birthday? Mi cumpleaños es el 19 de septiembre. Muy bien. And you'll have more practice with that during your practice homework, of course, for this mod. Muy bien. On we go, continuing with our repaso of el verbo tener y las expresiones. The verb to have and expressions that go with tener. Expressing possession, obligation, and age. Expressions with tener. So how do you use it? ¿Cómo usarlo? Perdóname. The verb tener means to have. It is used in Spanish to express possession, having things, and to give someone's age. You can also use it with que and another verb to say what you have to do. Por ejemplo, tengo que irme. And we'll get into that in more detail in a bit. So let's look at some examples. Repitan, por favor. Tengo 2 teléfonos en casa. Tengo 2 teléfonos en casa. Elena tiene 20 años. ¿Cuántos años tienen Sergio y Dulce? Repitan, Elena tiene 20 años. ¿Cuántos años tienen Sergio y Dulce? Tengo que irme porque tengo clase. Repitan. Tengo que irme porque tengo clase. And those are the 3 uses of tener that we're going to go over. Having things like 2 teléfonos, having age like tiene 20 años, and having to do something like tengo que irme, having to go somewhere. Along with that, when tener is used to express possession, the article is usually omitted unless number is emphasized or you're referring to a specific object. Like tengo 2 teléfonos, you're using a number there in that case, so you're using something specific. Note that where Spanish uses tener años to express age, the English equivalent is to be a certain age. How old are you? I am 25. So we're using the verb to be. But in Spanish, how many years do you have? I have a certain number of years. Here are the forms of the verb tener in the present indicative tense, and this is en tu libro, página 28. ¿Cómo se dice I have? Yo tengo. You have, tú tienes. He, she, you formal have. Él, ello, usted tiene. Nosotros, nosotras tenemos. We have. You guys or you gals have. Vosotros, vosotras tenéis. And they have or y'all have. Ellos, ellas, ustedes tienen. Now note when you change a verb into its various forms, the process is known as conjugation. Conjugation is taking that verb tener, which is the main verb, the root of where these different forms come from, taking the verb and changing it to match the subject. That's what conjugation is. So tener, unconjugated, not conjugated, is tener. Conjugated in the present indicative tense would be the forms that we're working on. Before a verb is conjugated, it ends in either AR, ER, or IR. So tener, of course, ends in ER. It's an ER ending verb. This form of the verb, before it's conjugated, is called the infinitive form. It's also the form of the verb that you would find in the dictionary. If you were reading along and you came across the word tengo, and you looked it up in a dictionary and said, what does this mean? It would say, si tener. You would need to know that it comes from that infinitive. Also, it's the form that has to in it. So tener means to have. So I wouldn't speak in infinitives. I wouldn't say yo tener. That would mean I to have. Ellos tener, they to have. Would you be understood? Absolutely. But of course, we work on conjugating all these verbs so that you know how to speak properly and write properly in Spanish. Let's talk about tener as it's used with possession. To talk about possessing, owning something, use the verb tener. The verb tener means to have. Por ejemplo, ¿cómo se dice I have a pen? Yo tengo un bolígrafo. ¿Cómo se dice the students have some books? Now think about it. Come up with the word for the students and then think, what would I replace the students with? Which subject pronoun? Would I replace the students with I, you, He, she, we, they. They. Okay, so that's going to give you the correct form of the verb tener, to use. The students have some books. Los estudiantes tienen unos libros. So you do that little switch thing in your mind as a way to help guide you to the form of the verb you would use, which is tienen, because you could replace los estudiantes with ellos in your mind, giving you the correct form. Last one, you need to do the same type of thing. The girl and I have a class. The girl and I have a class. Think of how you would say the girl and I. What could you replace the girl and I with to help you guide you toward which form of tener to use? La chica y yo tenemos una clase. If you remember anything that has y yo, nosotros. Anybody and I, that becomes we. Y yo, nosotros. Y yo, nosotros. A little trick to help you to remember. Now let's talk about tener plus años, to give age. To talk about how old someone is, you use tener plus the number plus the word años. So a person has a certain number of years. Por ejemplo, Juanita has 15 years. We would say Juanita is 15. But if you said that in Spanish, Juanita es 15, you would have just turned Juanita into the number 15. She is no longer Juanita, that young girl. She is actually the number 15 walking around. Works very different in Spanish. So you need to say that Juanita has 15 years. ¿Cómo se dice Juanita has 15 years in español? Juanita tiene 15 años. Now notice in English we can just say Juanita is 15. If you said in Spanish, Juanita tiene 15, she has 15 what? Cats, dogs, books. You need to put años at the end. She has 15 years. So let's do another ejemplo. ¿Cómo se dice the ladies have 43 years? The ladies are 43. Las mujeres tienen, because you could replace las mujeres with ellas, you need the form tienen, the plural, third person. Las mujeres tienen 43 años. Don't forget the años. So let me ask you the question now. ¿Cuántos años tienes? ¿Cuántos años tienes tú? So answer the question and tell me how old you are. Don't say yo soy. Don't turn yourself into a number. Yo tengo, and give your number and your years. Bien. La pregunta, once again, ¿cuántos años tienes? How many years do you have? La respuesta, in English we say I am. In Spanish you need to say I have. Yo tengo, the number of years. Finally, our other way to use tener is an expression known as tener que. Que always goes right after your conjugation of the verb tener, which means to have to. So to talk about what people have to do, use tener que and then a verb infinitive. Now remember that verb infinitives would be the form of the verb before it's conjugated. So it's the form that ends in either AR, ER, or IR. It's the form that's found in the dictionary. It's the form that has to in it. So it just means to read, to study. You don't know who's doing it yet. It's not associated with any subject. Por ejemplo, I have to go. Yo tengo que ir, but it's really seen as tengo que irme. You put that me on there. I have to get myself out of here. That's a little reflective pronoun there. I have to go, irme. You have to read some books. Tú tienes que leer unos libros. So you see in both examples, the first one, ir, the verb ir means to go. The verb leer means to read. Finalmente, they have to listen well. Ellos tienen que escuchar bien. So there you see the infinitive. Escuchar means to listen to, or to listen ends in an AR, the infinitive form. We don't know who's doing that. It's just the infinitive form. Let's continue with our repaso. Otras expresiones con tener, the other expressions that also use the verb tener. To say that you are in a hurry, use the expression tener prisa. Repitan, yo tengo prisa. To say that you are cold, use tener frío. Repitan, el muchacho tiene frío. To say that you are hot, use tener calor. Repitan, nosotros tenemos calor. To say that you are afraid, use the expression tener miedo. Repitan, ¿tienes miedo del examen? To say that you are hungry, use tener hambre. Repitan, las niñas tienen hambre. To say that you are thirsty, use tener sed. Repitan, los chicos y yo tenemos sed. To say that you are careful, use the expression tener cuidado. Repitan, mi amigo tiene cuidado. To say that you are successful, use tener éxito. Repitan, ella tiene éxito con el examen. To say that you have a desire to do something, use tener ganas de with the infinitive of the verb. Repitan, ellos tienen ganas de leer. To say that you have embarrassment, use the expression tener vergüenza. Repitan, yo tengo vergüenza. To say that you are tired, use tener sueño. Repitan, él tiene sueño. To say that you are right, use tener razón. Repitan, las mujeres tienen razón. Repitan, tener prisa. Tener frío. Tener calor. Tener miedo. Tener hambre. Tener sed. Tener cuidado. Tener éxito. Tener ganas de. Tener vergüenza. Tener sueño. Tener razón. Call out the English. To have caution. To have heat, to be warm, hot. To have fear. To have hunger. To have hurriedness, to have a hurry. To have cold, to be cold, to have cold. To have embarrassment. To have tiredness. To have thirst. To have success. To have a desire to. To have reason. Call out the Spanish. Tener prisa. Tener frío. Tener calor. Tener miedo. Tener hambre. Tener sed. Tener cuidado. Tener éxito. Tener ganas de. Tener vergüenza. Tener sueño. Tener razón. Excelente. On to something new. Voces de la Comunidad, and each of the capítulos, they will have this parte, which has to do with people around the world who speak. Bueno, en página 17 de tu libro, we have esta parte, Voces de la Comunidad. Una parte es Voces del Mundo Hispano, Voices of the Spanish-speaking world, Hispanic world. And this is mainly for the video that you're going to be watching as part of your practice. In the video segment, people from around the Spanish-speaking world introduce themselves, and then they're going to give you information about their age and their occupation. Keep in mind that there is a section on the bottom where you can bring up Spanish subtitles because, of course, they're speaking relatively quickly. And I want to show you the different characters that you are going to see. And we'll just say their names. Repitan: Sandra, Sandra, José, José, Ricardo, Ricardo, Bruna, Bruna, Jessica, Jessica, Dairamir, Dairamir, Claudio, Claudio, Javier, Javier, Ana, Ana, Alejandro, Alejandro, Marcela, Marcela, Ela, Ela, David, David, Patricia, Patricia, Aura, Aura, Juan Pedro, Juan Pedro, Constanza, Constanza. I'd like you to pause the video here and take a picture of this screen, because as the speakers are speaking later, they don't reintroduce themselves, so it's kind of tricky to figure out which speaker is giving you the information. So take a picture of this screen, and then you can pause through the video. The screen that we just saw prior to this is asking information about a variety of things, name, where they're from, age, and occupation. So las personas en rojo, the ones that have their names in red, you're going to answer questions about them on the prior screen that you saw. In addition, for your práctica, you're going to say where each person is from and follow the model. So, por ejemplo, es de, and you're going to write in the country. So you'll have the name there, es de, and write the country that you hear. Es, and see if you can hear them give the nationality. And I'm not going to be real tough on spelling here, okay? So this is what you're going to see in your screen, and do the best you can to write where they're from and what nationality they are. And as I said, you can bring up the subtitles, and you can pause during the video, and you can take the writing from there. And the other thing you're going to see is a section on how old these various people are: Constanza, Bruna, Juan Pedro, José, Alejandro, and Dairamir. So you'll listen for them in particular and write the number in words. So you're always writing out the Spanish in letters. Bueno, y la segunda parte of Voces de la Comunidad, or Voces de Estados Unidos, Spanish speakers in North America. It was in 1787 that Thomas Jefferson had this advice for his nephew, Peter Carr. 1787. Apply yourself to the study of the Spanish language with all of the assiduity you can. It and the English covering nearly the whole of America, they should be well known to every inhabitant who means to look beyond the limits of his farm. 1787. And here you are, good for you, taking Spanish now. So it's been a while since 1787, and today the U.S. is the fourth largest Spanish-speaking country in the world. The 54 million Hispanics, or Latinos, as they're known, who make their home in this country represent the fastest growing segment of the U.S. population, comprising nearly 17% of the total population. For its part, Canada is also home to a thriving community of over 480,000 Hispanics. So we're rooting for DACA, right? We're rooting for DACA. U.S. Hispanics are enjoying a period of unprecedented prosperity. Their estimated buying power of $1.5 trillion a year more than doubles the combined buying power of all other Spanish-speaking countries in the world. through Spanish language websites, publications, and advertising aimed at the lucrative Hispanic market, U.S. companies are continually striving to better understand, entice, and serve Latino customers. Muy bien, on with a leer, on to read, the reading section. Again, this is in each capítulo, we have a section on reading. This particular reading is called Tu dirección electrónica revela tu personalidad. Your email address reveals your personality. So I'm not sure what a lot of your personal emails are. I have your ECC email, but you're going to check out and see if that's true as we do the reading. Muy bien, página 34, a leer. Antes de leer, before reading, estrategia. Of course, you know what that means, good cognate. Strategy, and that's what this is about, identifying cognates to aid comprehension. Perdóname. You've already learned a number of cognates, words that look similar in both Spanish and English but are pronounced differently. Some cognates you've already learned are regular, terrible, teléfono. Cognates help you get a general idea of content, even if you don't know a lot of words and grammar. Ojo. Ojo literally means eye. Ojo. It's used in Spanish to direct a person's attention to something. It's similar to saying, watch out, be careful, or look, look out, so pay attention. So let's continue here. Ojo, pay attention. False cognates are words that look similar in English and Spanish but mean different things, like embarazado. For example, here dirección means address, not direction in English. If a word that looks like a cognate doesn't make sense, you may need to look it up in a dictionary to discover the true meaning. So we're going to use that estrategia. We're going to look at the headlines of the 4 sections of the article, and you're going to see if you can get the main idea of the article by relying on cognates and words you already know. So as we do the reading, and we're going to do this together, you're not going to put a check mark by words that you already know. I just want you to look at the titles and say cognates that you think are equivalents to English, and just say them aloud, see if you can guess. Muy bien, aquí está el artículo en página 35. Let's take a look at the subheadings. Nombre, ejemplo, Lucy Diaz. Easy, right? The name. So we're looking at a section that describes what somebody's like if they use their name as their email address. Números. Yep. What's someone like who uses numbers as their email? Dirección electrónica. Autodescripción. A description of somebody. Romántico loco. Crazy romantic. So what is that saying about someone if they're using that for their email? Dirección electrónica. Fantasía. Frodo forever. Fantasía. Yeah. Fantasy type of a heading of a usage of their name. So maybe that's something that you're using. We'll check it out. Bueno, en página 34, después de leer, after you read the article, and we're going to do that in un minuto, you're going to concentrate on the cognates and words you already know and answer these preguntas based on what you leye. 1. Según, according to el artículo, las personas que tienen una dirección electrónica con su nombre son misteriosas, honestas, emocionales o introvertidas. 2. Las personas que son lógicas y poco, little, emocionales, tienen una dirección electrónica con números, con su nombre, de fantasía o descriptiva. Remember, those are the 4 categorías. 3. Las personas que se describe themselves con su dirección electrónica son un poco inocentes, aventureras, agresivas o introvertidas. 4. ¿Cuál es el nombre de fantasía que usan en el artículo? So which is the fantasy name that they use in the article? And finalmente, en tu opinión, ¿es correcta o falsa la información sobre tu personalidad? So you think about it and see if these different párrafos, paragraphs, describe you. Let's read. I'm going to give you un momento para leer. Primero, all of the reading passages in Nexos include translations of key but not all unknown words, and you're going to see that on the bottom of your page if you're in your book or on the bottom of the screen. Try to get the gist of the passage before you look for the definitions. Save them as a last resort, allowing you to read the passage more quickly. Concentrate on getting the main idea. Don't get caught up on words you don't know. Get the main idea first. So I'll give you un minuto to lee. Lee, por favor, párrafo 1. And now, lee conmigo. Read with me. We'll try to pronounce together in español. Let's go. Vamos. ¿Es simbólica la dirección electrónica que usas? Muchas personas creen que no, pero en realidad los nombres de computadora que usamos revelan información importante sobre nuestras características más secretas. ¿Revela todo tu dirección electrónica? Vamos a ver. We are going to see. Escoge el tipo de dirección electrónica más similar a la tuya. I'm not going to translate. If you need more translation, pause the video and you can look up some words on your iPhone, do a translator, but hopefully you got the main idea. That's what we're aiming for. Lee, por favor, en voz baja, silencio. Lee. Muy bien, now lee conmigo. Let's practicar el español. Nombre. En este caso, la dirección electrónica puede representar a una persona directa y honesta. Prefiere la realidad y es práctica y realista. No le interesa el misterio o la fantasía. Estas personas son muy aptas para los negocios a causa de su estilo directo. Lee, por favor, en silencio, números. Bueno, lee conmigo. Números. Las personas con los números en las direcciones electrónicas no tienen mucho interés en las cortesías diarias o las interacciones sociales. Prefieren el mundo superracional de los números y las matemáticas puras. Otra explicación es que prefieren ser anónimos. Quieren mantener su misterio con un nombre que revela muy poco. Finalmente, autodescripción. Lee, por favor, en silencio. Y lee conmigo. Autodescripción. Las personas que se describen con la dirección electrónica necesitan comprensión y cariño. Pueden ser amables, afectuosas y un poco ingenuas o inocentes. Pero, cuidado, estos nombres pueden ser totalmente falsos. Los nombres que indican que una persona es honesta o responsable pueden distorsionar la realidad completamente. Finalmente, fantasía. Lee, por favor, en silencio. Y lee conmigo. Fantasía. Por lo general, estas personas consideran el ciberespacio como una oportunidad para la reinvención personal. Prefieren identificarse como un personaje imaginario para participar en lo que es para ellos un drama cibernético. Pueden ser aventureras, emocionales y extrovertidas. Estos nombres también pueden atraer a las personas introvertidas que tienen la fantasía de presentarse completamente diferentes de su realidad diaria. Y ahora las preguntas. See if you can answer them correctamente. Número 1. Según el artículo, las personas que tienen una dirección electrónica con su nombre son honestas. 2. Las personas que son lógicas y poco emocionales tienen una dirección electrónica con números. 3. Las personas que se describen con su dirección electrónica son un poco inocentes. ¿Y cuál es el nombre de fantasía que usan en el artículo? Frodo Forever. Now, ahora, en tu opinión, ¿es correcta o falsa la información sobre tu personalidad? I wish I could actually speak with you about that because it is interesante. I wonder if that matches you or if it doesn't. Bien. Bien, we're wrapping up our module 4B. A escribir, on to writing. You're going to escribe un email a tu profesora. Yep, you'll be writing an email to me. Let's see how you're going to do this. A escribir antes de escribir. Estrategia. Pre-writing, identifying your target audience. And there will be a writing piece in each capítulo, and so we'll do basically the same type of thing. I'll describe that particular task. Before you write, consider who will read your work, and it will be me in this case. Your intended reader's identity is the crucial element that helps you establish the format, the tone, the content of your writing, of your written piece. Imagine you're writing 2 descriptions of the same event. How would your description vary if you were writing it for a close friend or someone you've never met? Remembering your audience is the first step toward creating an effective writing piece. As you use Nexos, this online material that we're using, you'll learn to write by using a process that moves from pre-writing, identifying ideas and organizing them, through writing, and ends with revising or revisions. And in this case, you are also going to read your written piece to me as part of your online practice. In each Escribir section, you will learn strategies that help you improve your techniques in each of the 3 phases of the writing process. So we'll condense it just a little bit, and I will describe how we'll do that. For this particular assignment, you are going to write an email to your new Spanish-speaking roommate. So that will be me. You'll send it to me, but pretend like I'm your roommate. You haven't met me yet. You're not going to do this with a partner. You'll do it by yourself. You're going to begin by creating a list of the information you'd like to include in your message. Identify its tone. Perdón. Think about the vocabulary you now know. Lots of vocabulary for things in the classroom, for people. Think about the other pieces needed, the articles to put things together, how to say the, how to say a, and, or some. You're going to need glue to keep the pieces together. And speaking of that, you absolutely need verbs to make your sentences complete. So let's begin with some basics that you know that you're going to apply to your writing. What are the subject pronouns? ¿Cómo se dice I en español? Yo. You, my friend, singular. Tú. ¿Cómo se dice he? Él, she. Ella, you, formal. Usted. ¿Cómo se dice we? Two ways. Nosotros, nosotras. You guys, if you were in Spain, and I would not like you to use this, I want you to see it, but you'll use another plural form of you all. Vosotros or vosotras. ¿Cómo se dice they if your group is all masculine or masculine and feminine? Ellos. ¿Cómo se dice they, a group that's all feminine? Ellas. ¿Cómo se dice you all? And I would like you always to use this form in your writing or speaking. Ustedes. And let's look at the two verbs, the basics that you learned. ¿Qué significa ser? Ser means to be. ¿Cómo se dice I am? Yo soy. You, familiar, singular, are. Tú eres. He, she, or you, formal, are. Él es, ella es, usted es. ¿Cómo se dice we are? Nosotros, nosotras somos. You guys, you gals are in Spain. Vosotros, vosotras sois. They are or y'all are. Ellos son, ellas son, ustedes son. Perdón, ¿cómo se dice I have? And we're getting into the verb tener. ¿Qué significa tener? To have. ¿Cómo se dice I have? Yo tengo. You have. Tú tienes. He, she, you, formal have. Él tiene, ella tiene, usted tiene. We have. Nosotros, nosotras tenemos. You guys, you gals have. Vosotros, vosotras tenéis. They or y'all have. Ellos tienen, ellas tienen, ustedes tienen. How do you remember all these things? Well, write it, write it, write it. Read it, read it, read it. Say it, say it, say it. Don't stop until each chart is memorized, until you know them. Bien, so antes de escribir, before writing, I want you to think about what you're going to be putting into this email. You're writing to your roommate for the first time. And here are some ideas that you can use in your email. Take a quick snapshot of them, or you are actually going to see them in your writing activity, in your practice. So this is what you're actually going to see, the screen that you will have when you go to do your writing. So you're going to see that there are some examples that you can use. You're going to see the example. And then you're going to see some phrases that could be helpful, things that you might have that you're bringing for the room. On the bottom, you'll see submit. So the whole screen will look like this. You're going to have examples of how to write on the top. You'll have some added elements that you can put in, and you have your space to write. So here's how you're going to be graded on this. How should you write? Your grade is going to be logged as a quiz component. Writing, it will come up QZWR in your grading column. And it's a 10-point assignment. The vocabulary is worth 2 points. If it's rich vocabulary, 2, minimum vocabulary, 1 point. Grammar. Are you conjugating your verbs correctly? Are you using el, la, los, las, un, unos, unas, una properly? 2, correct usage. Really doing a good job. 1 for numerous errors. Spelling, muy importante. 2, a high accuracy of spelling. 1, numerous errors. Comprehension. 2 points if it's really well understood, very little type of teacher translating I have to do. 1, if there are a few issues and we're starting to get bumpy, I'm starting to be confused by your writing in spaces. And finally, complexity. There's a lot of variety in the sentences that you're writing, and one would be more simplistic, like yo tengo, yo tengo, yo tengo, and you keep making lists like that. Please look at the top of this. No translators. Believe me, I can tell if this is your work or if you plug something into the computer and it translates because it comes out very strange. If I can see very clearly that a translator was used, I will definitely be in touch with you about that. So don't even bother. Just use what's in your brain. That's what we're aiming for. And after you write it, I want you to take a screenshot of it because the activity that you will have for practice is reading it aloud. So I'd like you to read it to me. Lee, por favor, en voz alta. One other thing before we exit our module today. You're going to have an activity called el mensaje, the message. There are 5 preguntas. You'll escuchar el mensaje. Here's some vocabulary that will be helpful. Dejar un mensaje, leave a message. Habla, for example, habla Ana means Ana's calling. Busco, I am looking for. Busco, I am looking for. ¿Te acuerdas? Do you remember? ¿Te acuerdas? Necesito hablar. I need to talk. Necesito hablar. Antes de, before. Antes de. And perdí. I lost. Perdí. Take a screenshot of this. Have your phone. Take a picture. That'll be helpful when you get into that actividad. Muy bien. Es el fin de Module 4B. Buen trabajo y hasta pronto.